Hello, hello. Here we are again coming to you from Broadcast Team Alpha on 44 different platforms around the world with the Paranormal World Show. And yes, on 44 different platforms, and one of them is the Conscious Awakening Network. You got to go over there and have a look at them. They have close to 50 different shows over there, and they talk about all the things that you and me need to know about. You can go check them out at consciousawakeningnetwork.org. You're going to like it over there because I do too. We are also transmitting live on their platform, and you can find us there too. Now, for those of you that is watching this on YouTube, this is the only good place to be because that's the only place we can watch the chat room. So you can participate in the show. And if we can, we will be in there and asking questions and we can talk with you, so to speak. And for those of you that also like to get a hold of Nori and myself, you can go to broadcastteamalpha.com, and there is a contact feature over there. So just send us an email and we'll get the email. We'll get back to you and see what we can do. Anyway, I want to talk about a project called Red Sun. Now, every indication is that NASA and the Russian Space Agency sent people to Mars in 1973. Why don't we know about this? Well, the government doesn't want you to know because you remember, knowledge is power. As long as they have the knowledge and we don't have it, they have the power. So that's their philosophy, though that is changing now, but they're hanging on to it. And you see, they also have tools. One of their biggest and most powerful tools to keeping knowledge is deny, 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 deny. And if it's classified and they deny, how can we get by that to the information? It's not that easy. Freedom of Information Act may be limited. They have another theory that was not created by NASA, but it was created by the CIA in the 1960s, and that is called the term conspiracy theory. As long as government and the media and anybody that think they have power say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory, the weak-minded ones, they, oh yeah, that's nothing to that, that's not true, since it is a conspiracy theory. Now, I think we're going to have a shortage coming up in this country of conspiracy theories because they all seems to be coming true. And that is something that we need to keep in mind. As soon as somebody say this is a conspiracy theory, it puts a cloud on it, a cloud of unbelievability. So we just don't accept it most of the time until we start looking behind what's going on, and then we find a little more of the truth. Now, this is something that 50 years ago, I was traveling, 50 some years ago, I was traveling in Europe and I went to Russia to visit. Went to Moscow and I got in with a college crowd and they told me something, and that is that nothing has been confirmed to be true until the government denies it. It's a saying that was all over in communist countries, pretty much every one of them. Nothing has been confirmed to be true until the government has denied it. That is coming true here now in America. You think on that, and maybe you get one of your eyes open a little bit. And it seems like in a rational stupidity, we actually believed sometimes some of what politicians in government tell us. We should know better than that by now. Now, especially true is that when it comes to space exploration. Russia, they were the first to put a satellite into orbit in 1957. It was called Sputnik. They were also first to put, should I say, a living being into orbit, which was a dog named Laika. And we were kind of lagging behind. So in 1958, the United States government created NASA. They needed a space agency to beat the Russians to the moon. That was their goal. And we were also told that in 1969, they placed a man on the moon. Of course, there's some controversy around that because it has been proven that half of the pictures that is said to be from the moon was faked because they were created here on Earth. But that doesn't matter. They still claim it. And of course, now they're saying that they hope to be able to go back again because we are not able to go beyond low orbit anymore. So we'll see how that comes out. Let's watch from a distance. Now, in 1973, the moon program, the Apollo program, was canceled. Why? Could it be that in 1973, in a joint mission with Russia, they sent people to land on Mars? Maybe they didn't have any need for the moon anymore. We know as a fact that there was a program called the Red Sun. That was, it came out of the Project Horizon, which was the one before Red Sun. And of course, Mars is a lot further away than the moon. The Mars is about, when it is at its closest, there's about 34 million miles. And when it's on the other side of the sun, it can reach all the way to 250 million miles away. So it was a little more difficult task to do. But they are saying they did it. Yeah, they are saying so because there are whistleblowers coming out saying so. They, the Mars mission was created at NASA on paper and in theory, and then they built a base in the Amazon jungle in South America. And that's where they built the spaceship. They built everything there. And the spaceship was called Columbus. How appropriate. Christopher Columbus, he is said to have discovered America. But there were Native Americans here. He didn't discover it. I think they did before he did. Now they created Columbus and went to Mars. And probably will claim that they discovered it. But there are Martians there. Yeah, there is. It took, when they left, they took 150 some days to get there. And now the Red Sun program was confirmed by an Italian journalist. And he was on the inside of the program. He had access to everything about that. And now there are whistleblowers coming out, and some of them are dying under mysterious circumstances. That is kind of strange. You wouldn't think that maybe a government could have a hand in that. Of course not. We wouldn't think that, would we? But we're also told that NASA is a civil organization. Well, no, it isn't. It's entirely military that hires civilian people. But we are told it is a civil organization. Now, there's an astronaut. His name is William Rutledge. He explained in 2007 that he was on the mission to Mars in that spacecraft. He also told us that they found a humanoid body there and alien equipment up there and buildings and other things that shouldn't be there. He said they did not go to Mars to find alien life. They knew they were alien life. They was looking for technology. They found buildings and ships and things like that. So that's what they were looking for. Now, Rutledge said he know Operation Red Sun was active, at least for he knew up to 2011. Now, there are colonies and people on Mars. We have the pictures. And if you want to go to the gallery on broadcastteamalpha.com, the picture gallery, scroll into that, you'll see all kinds of pictures from Mars with strange things, humanoid, people, vegetation, trees, buildings. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff up there. You can see the pictures. Better yet, though, you can go to YouTube to Broadcasting Alpha and scroll down in there, probably about 4 years worth of shows, and you will find a video documentary that Nori and I did of what is on Mars. The video documentary is called The Mars Pictures. Find it and watch it. You're going to like that one. A lot of those pictures were intercepted by people before it got to NASA so they could smudge it or alter it. So that's why we have the real thing there, especially the first one out on their picture. You can see a Martian standing about 20 foot away from the rover. Very clear what he is. So go have a look at that. Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, and scroll down and find the video documentary called The Mars Pictures. There you will see what really is on Mars. When I say there's people on Mars, yeah, there is. And have a look at that, because it could make sense of you. Even Buzz Aldrin right now, the astronaut, he speaks of a monolith on Mars's moon, Phobos. The monolith standing straight out, it's a very large one, and perfectly, square corners and all that. Nature does not create these things. That is an intelligent creation by someone that had the opportunity and technology to do it. And then we have Gary McKinnon. Gary McKinnon, he's said to have hacked into NASA's computer. Well, he really didn't hack in. He just found the phone number into the back door of the computer, and there were no firewalls, there were no blocks. He got right into the files, and he was poking around looking for UFO information. Well, he found a lot more than that. He found a list of names under the title of non-terrestrial officers. Think on that. Non-terrestrial officers. He also found a list of Navy ships. There was about 10, 11, 12 different ships. When he searched for the names of those ships in the Navy annals, they do not exist. And a couple of those names, one of them was USS Hillenkotter. That was named after Admiral Hillenkotter. USSS. That is an extra S in there compared to what the Navy uses for their ships. That is United States Space Service. And then another one was USSS LeMay. That was also after a high-ranking military named after him. Now, this matches the testimonials from people who was in the secret space program. You know, the 20 and back program. They talk about ships of those kinds of names. Now, McKinnon also found that there were listings of cargo. And let's go ship-to-ship transfers of cargo from ships that does not exist. Why would NASA have that? There had to be something there. They also speak of humanoids on Mars. If you go to YouTube, scroll down, find the Mars pictures, you will see those humanoids. One of those humanoids is only about a foot tall. Think on that. It's very clear he's standing there leaning up against a rock. That's a human. Well, how could it be? A foot tall human? Well, about 4, 5, 6 years ago, there were some archaeologists that went to Antarctica. They were digging for things that they could, say this is organic and this is strange stuff that could not be explained. They found the rock and there was a crack in it. They broke it open and they found inside of that rock was the fossilized perfect human skeleton. 11 inches tall or long. When they stretched it out, it would come to about 11 inches. It was all curled up a little bit inside there. You can go to broadcastteamalpha.com into the picture gallery and you scroll down, you can find that picture. And some people say, yeah, that never happened. Those are the people that don't do their own research. It was written up in archaeology journals because I looked and I found it. So that was real. On Earth, millions of years ago, there were humans a foot tall. Now that matches the picture we have from Mars. A foot tall human standing there leaning up against a rock. So yeah, there is stuff up there. Now, also, John Brandenburg, he also a NASA scientist. He claims that Mars was destroyed by a nuclear holocaust or some calamity involving nuclear explosions. How does he know that? Well, the reason that he knows that is because the air atmosphere on Mars have a lot of xenon gas in it. Xenon gas. And that gas can only be created by a nuclear detonation. And then there was this TV program called Alternative 3. That was a secret space program of moving people to Mars. It was kind of a brain drain here from Earth going to Mars. The sharpest scientists and people suddenly disappeared. They were never to be found anywhere again. Oh, the government says, there's no such thing. We're not doing anything like that. Of course, what else could they say? Remember, they moved their lips. Some of you will understand that. Now, they're building bases on Mars. So, how is Mars anyway? We've been lied to about that. Do you remember all the pictures coming back from Mars used to be all brown? The ground is brown and the sky is brown. It's not that way anymore. The ground now looks like Sedona, Arizona. This kind of little brownish hue to it because of the oxidation of iron. But there's blue skies on Mars now. What has happened here? Did suddenly something change? No, they're not using the brown filter anymore because there are NASA scientists that has admitted to that they were using a brown filter to make it look all brown. And then, well, there's air on Mars. If you have blue skies, that can only happen if you have two things. One of them is oxygen, and the other one is moisture. And because the blue light comes and is filtered through the moisture molecule, it's kind of like a prism, and it stops some of the other colors from coming through. So yes, there is air on Mars, and you'll find that in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now when you go there, because it will be available. It will come. And then, well, there's water. On the video documentary Noria and I did, you will see the lakes up there. And, well, there's actually animals too. So you go have a look at that. All of this will be known when the curtain is falling down. And also, there are spaceships heading this way, coming in to the inner planets. And we should wonder who's in those ships. In a year or so from now, we will be interacting with extraterrestrials. We also know the Anunnaki is coming back, and there are others. So I don't know how to end this video except think real deeply on this, because there will be a day when you're going to have to deal with these issues. Prepare yourself. because there's going to be a new world descending on you, and it will be very quickly when it happens. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I did, certainly do. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe. That will help us a lot. So now we'll be back next week. Until then, be good to each other.